Sasha, may I have a word? Amy, what's wrong? I was wondering. I think that Emma's recent hobbies are a little too lame. For example, those comics. Is that so? She enjoys reading them. In my house, we try to include more academic things. For example, we regularly go to the opera and classical concerts, and it's a good influence on my son, Brian. That's wonderful. But Emma doesn't seem to be interested in those things yet. If she wants to, of course, I'll let her do those things. But there's also something she can learn from comics. Well, I also think it's not a good idea to use too many cheap ingredients. We use organic and high-quality ingredients to keep my son healthy. It makes my husband happy too. I see. We use local fresh ingredients, but we do try to take care of her health to a certain extent. I hope that's good enough. By the way, I wonder if you're giving Emma an early education. We have been teaching Brian Spanish and arithmetic ever since he can remember. Wow, that's great. I haven't done that much with Emma yet. Right now, I'm focusing on having her learn through play. Yes, that may be one way, but early education is still important. We talk to Brian in Spanish every day and have him go through a special program. By doing so, he will have more options in the future. That's wonderful. We also want to give Emma a variety of experiences as she grows. Yes, that's good. But I feel sorry for the child if the parents are not educated. That's why we want Brian to have a top-notch education. We are trying our best to give him a first-class education and raise him to be a respectable man. That's admirable. We want to do everything we can for Emma too. Sasha, for Emma's sake, shouldn't you give her better experiences? Better experiences? For example, why don't you let her travel abroad? Our family goes on overseas trip every year to expose Brian to different cultures. That's right. We'll think about it too. We also have him read classic literature from an early age. I hear that exposing children to good books from childhood enriches their sensibilities. I let Emma read books that interest her. By choosing her own books, she seems to enjoy reading. That may be a good point, but it is also important for parents to make sure they choose the right books. We go to a bookstore every month and buy carefully selected books for Brian. Is that so? That sounds like a good idea. Yes, it is. After all, if parents are not strong, I feel sorry for their children. I think you should work harder and provide Emma with a good education, don't you think? Yes, I will. Thank you very much. Sasha, I've gone to a lot of trouble to give you advice. Do you always pretend to listen to what I say and ignore? I'm giving you all this good information, and I hope you'll make use of it. It's useful, and I'm grateful for it. I always take your advice. Why are you saying that? Because you're always daydreaming like an idiot, aren't you? Are you okay with Emma's education? I'm doing it in my own way. Brian got into a famous private elementary school. It's really different when your husband is elite and dedicated to education. My husband is really talented, and he's perfectly capable at work and at home. How about your place? Brian did a great job to get into the school. His efforts really paid off. Emma also looks up to him. Right? He has been going to cram school since he was 3 years old for gifted education. And I speak to him in Spanish every day. I don't let him watch any cartoons. I provide a really good environment for my son. That's great. Emma inherited a love of comics from me and my husband. After all, she likes comics more than literature. I think it's important to spend time together as a family, enjoying things together. So I guess we're fine. I feel sorry for the children if their parents are not well educated. That's why we do everything we can to give Brian a top-notch education. Comics are the worst. My husband always says it's vulgar and bad for the kids. Is that so? We are all about family fun, and comics are part of that. Of course it is worst. Emma is going to take the junior high school entrance exam next year, right? No, she won't. I'm sending her to a public school. That's for ordinary people. I'm worried about Emma's future with that kind of education. We're an ordinary family, you know. Still, as long as Emma grows up happy, that's all that matters to me. I don't like it. I have to be careful not to let Brian be influenced by ordinary people. We're really strict about educating our son. Brian and Emma always seem to be having fun playing together, don't they? When I see the smiles on their faces when they play together, I think that happiness is the best thing for children. That's the problem. It's not good for Brian. I want Brian to grow up in a more noble environment. That's why I'm giving him a proper education. You should think more about that. I don't know about that. By the way, about your stuff that's left at my parents' house, could you please get rid of them soon? I want to rearrange the room and make space for my new life. No, I can't. That room is full of my life. How can I get rid of it when it is filled with memories and precious things? But it's been more than 5 years since you left the house, and you got married and bought an apartment. Don't you have enough space there? Emma wants her own room. She grew up and wants to have her own space. She's still in elementary school. She doesn't need a room. Giving a child a room is too extravagant. Her friends are starting to have their own rooms and she wants one. I want to make sure she has the right environment as she grows up. If you give your child everything right away just because she wants it, she won't grow up to be a good adult. She needs to be properly educated. Besides, Jack sometimes works from home, so he wants to use it as a workroom. He needs a place where he can concentrate. Do it in the living room. He can do his work where the whole family can gather. Fiona often brings her friends over to the living room, so he can't concentrate in the living room. Then use the bedroom. He can work there. I can't put the desk in the bedroom. I think it would be better to separate where you sleep and where you work. It's a waste to have one whole room as a storage, you know. I want to make effective use of that space. That is not a storage room. That is my room. Don't touch my stuff without permission. Besides, that room gets the most sunlight. I think it's the best room for Emma to study and play. It's my room because it gets the most sun. Besides, that room is filled with my treasures. Anyway, could you please do something about your stuff so that everyone in the family can live comfortably? Anyway, Don't touch my stuff. Don't you even think about looking in the boxes. I'm not going to let you get rid of it. Amy, I'm sorry for texting you so many times. I was talking to Fiona a little while ago, and she said she wanted to see you and your family. Why did you come visit us here for the first time in a while? What? I don't have as much free time as you do. It's hard for me to find time. I see, but she really misses you. Brian has grown up and she will be happy to see him. I know that, but I'm busy. I have to take care of the apartment and I have a lot of plans for the weekend. I understand that you're busy for your family, but your parents' home is also an important place for you, right? Why don't you make time to visit for Fiona, even if it's just for a few minutes? I know I should, but I'm busy. Why do you want us to come so badly? It's because Fiona misses you guys. Isn't it natural that she misses her daughter's family? Besides, it's fun when the family gets together, and Emma is looking forward to seeing Brian. There's something fishy. There seems to be something going on. You're planning to take over my room, aren't you? I won't fall for that trick. I was trying to make Fiona happy. Amy, please think about it a little. Can you leave us alone now? We have our own lives. I don't have time to go to my parents' house. I'm sure Fiona will be happy to see you and Brian. Fiona's really worried about you. That being said, it's realistically difficult. I don't know how much you understand, but I have a lot of work to do. Of course I understand. But that's why I hope you can make some time for her, to bring joy to Fiona. Shut up! Will you leave us alone already? Amy, are you okay now? I have a favor to ask you. I was wondering if you could come pick up your stuff soon. You really keep texting me, don't you? Are you still trying to take over my room? Take over? That's not what I meant. Can you please stop talking about it? I've already told my brother I don't want to do it. Please take your stuff out. Absolutely not. I have the right to use my parents' house. Right? Don't be so dramatic. The house is in my mother's name, so I have the right to inherit it. Yes, but Fiona has declared that she will live to be 100 years old, so you have 40 years to wait. I will inherit half of it in 40 years. It's the same thing if I use it now. That's for sure. That room is mine. Or are you after my inheritance, Sasha? No, that's not what I meant. I wonder if you're planning to take over the house while Mother's still healthy. That's terrible. Why would I do that? You're usually in a daze and fell asleep during my father's funeral. You're the person who made a mistake at my wedding and went to the other venue. So you're telling me you're not thinking about moving your stuff out. I just want to use that room. Everything in that room is my treasure. It's filled with my dreams and my youth. Dreams and youth? By the way, what's in the cardboard boxes? I've been wondering about it for a while. Don't pry into my private life. Besides, every time you come to visit here, there are more cardboard boxes, aren't there? That's none of your business. Why don't you rent the storage? Because it costs money. It only costs $60 a month, and it looks like you can rent it. If it's at my parents' house, it's free. Don't say that. Jack said he would be willing to pay half the rental fee. Does that mean I have to pay the other half? Are you kidding me? There are so many of my precious collections in that room. Besides, that's the room I've been using since I was a child, and it's filled with so many memories. But Amy, it's been many years since you left your parents' house. You've started a new life, so don't you think it's important to organize things a little bit? I can't organize anything. I'm telling you, that room is filled with my life. I will never allow you to move my things without my permission just because you want to use that room. I'm not saying we should force you to do it either, but Emma wants to have her own room. We want to make sure that she has an environment that will accommodate her as she grows up. But that doesn't mean you can use my room without my permission. I have the right to use that room. But Fiona, we want to make sure that everyone in the family is comfortable. Then you guys should be more creative. Stop using my room without permission. We have done the best we can, but we just don't have enough space. My room is mine. Don't let anyone in until I use it. Then, could you be a little more flexible? We need you to cooperate to make it comfortable for everyone in the family. And by cooperate, I mean don't move any of my things without my permission. I thought about putting them in the garage, but I can't fit a room full of stuff in there. The garage isn't that big after all. Then they would be treated like junk. I can't imagine you treating my precious treasures like that. I wouldn't call it junk, but it is unused and unwanted. They seem to have been neglected for a long time. If you really need it, shouldn't you put it in a place where you can make better use of it? They are my treasures that I plan to use. I put them there with great care. I have a lot of memories in them. They are not just things. Then you can take better care of them if you keep them in your apartment. Wouldn't it be safer there where you live now? The more important things you have, the closer you should keep them. Besides, Emma has recently taken an interest in that room. She sometimes goes in there without permission, and I try to warn her, but she just can't help but be curious about it. Please don't let Emma go into that room. You should educate her properly so that she doesn't go into my room. Just because she's a child doesn't mean she's allowed. She started saying, I don't care if it's in the corner. I'm going to make it my own place. She wants her own space. And after all, she's going to need it if she grows up. You have to teach her well. Is that what you want for her? You have to educate her more. I'm sorry, but can't you do anything about it? Emma is getting bigger and needs her own space. I'd appreciate it if you could think about it a little for her sake. If I say no, no. That room is mine. I won't let anyone touch it. Especially Emma. Don't let her touch it. I see. Too bad. But there may be times in the future when Emma will want to go in. I would appreciate it if you could think about it a little more for both of us. Whatever. Oh, by the way, I'd like to leave Brian with you next week since we're attending the company's party as a couple. The party will go late into the night, so we would like you to let him stay overnight if possible. That's fine. Emma will be delighted. They are very close, so it would be fun to spend time together. But no comics or cartoons. Those things are a waste of time and not good education. When Brian comes over to our house, that's what he seems to be looking forward to. It really makes him smile, and Emma is having fun together. Absolutely not. It's bad for his education, and I won't allow him to see it. If his grades drop or it has a bad influence on him, he'll be in trouble. Don't let any of those stuff get to my son. In our home, we try to spend our time on more noble things. Amy, I'm sorry to bother you so early in the morning, but I really wanted to discuss this with you. What is it? It was late last night and my head is still a bit fuzzy. It's about Brian. What? What's wrong with Brian? Well, did he get hurt? Oh, he is fine. It's just... What is it? Say it quickly. He opened the box. What box? You mean my room? Yes, I found him opening the box. No kidding! You saw what was inside? I couldn't help it. It was already opened. What? What did you do? I'm sorry. I was careful not to let Emma go in. But Brian said he wanted to see your treasures. I tried to stop him. So, did you read it? Don't worry. I took it right away. But the characters are parodies of cartoons, right? That's why the kids wanted to read it. It's your fault for letting them in the room. You can't even babysit properly. I'm sorry. By the way, Amy, that's a comic magazine, right? Huh? How did you know? I have a friend who is into comics. He told me about it before. I didn't realize that the contents were for adults. No way! Did you see it too, Sasha? Sorry, my curiosity got the better of me and I read it. Please don't tell my husband. He hates those things. He is very strict, and I don't know what he would do if he knew I had such a hobby. I'm sure he wouldn't be happy. Your husband is very strict about education. That is why he never lets Brian watch cartoons or comics, right? I was surprised to hear that you had written something like this. I couldn't imagine it from your usual attitude. I wrote it secretly in the daytime when no one was around, so that no one would know about it. I usually hide it in the back of my closet so that no one can find it. I'm always worried someone might find out. You have to go that far? That's a lot of work. It's hard to keep secrets. I have been writing since I was a student. I don't want to stop now. This hobby is part of my life. I understand how you feel. A friend of mine said the same thing. He has been writing comics in secret for a long time, and he is struggling with the same thing. I know. It's a relief to have someone who understands. I had no idea that the room had become an inventory for your comics. But that's one form of passion, isn't it? That is the safest place for me because my husband won't find it there. I sell them little by little. But when I make new ones, the number increases and I'm in trouble. We don't have room in the apartment now, so I have to put it in my room there. Jack was saying, he said you used to be a nerd, and it's strange that you married such an elite. Because it's so fun to imagine a perfect dream of romance. I see. Living with my husband, I can fantasize about being with a perfect handsome man. I understand. I married my husband because I thought he was just like Spider-Man. Spider-Man? What's so good about him? He's so handsome and cool. He follows me everywhere. Really? I don't understand it one bit. You and I are the same kind of people, aren't we? No, we're not. I'm not an ordinary person like you. Now we are friends, aren't we? Don't be so friendly with me. Comics are not for ordinary people. It's for aristocrats to write, right? Shut up! Will you clean up your room? I told you I don't want to. I'm going to tell your husband. Oh, don't do that. You can't show him the comics because it's vulgar, right? Ugh. So, what do you say? Will you absolutely positively not tell my husband? I think that's up to you, Amy. Oh, no. I've been called an ordinary person so many times in the past. I apologize for that. Then you will vacate the room, right? If I put that many things in the apartment, my husband will find out. I absolutely have to keep it a secret. So please rent a storage. If it is some distance away, your husband is unlikely to find out and it will be safe. I don't have any money. I put all the money I had at my disposal into my comics. I spend most of my monthly income on comics, so I have no savings at all. Why don't you just work part-time or something? If you increase your income even a little, you could at least raise enough money to pay for the storage. No, my friends will think I'm poor. They're always watching me, and if I start working part-time, they will find out. Then tell your husband. You'll have to explain the situation to him and ask for his cooperation. Wait a minute! Don't do that! I don't want my husband to find out. He's a strict man. What if he finds out about my hobby? Come on, it has nothing to do with me. I just want to make sure that our whole family is comfortable. If I get divorced, I won't have any savings, and I won't be able to live. Everything I have now would fall apart. Then what would you do? Nothing is going to get resolved if you keep on like this. I really don't know what to do. And while you're at it, please approve the name change of the family home. Fiona doesn't want to pay taxes or whatever, so she wants to change the name of the house to Jack. What's that? What do you mean? She wants to change the name of the house in order to reduce her tax burden. By changing the name to Jack, it will reduce the burden on the whole family. I don't like it. It's mine. My inheritance will be reduced. Why would I do that? Don't worry. I'll make you the beneficiary of Fiona's life insurance. I will make sure that you won't lose money in the future. You're talking about 40 years from now. I can't put it into the comics. Well, I guess so. But it is still important to cooperate for the sake of the family. Oh no, I really don't know what to do. Now that you and I are friends, we will be able to have fun from now on. I won't even be treated like an ordinary person anymore. That's terrible. You set me up. I'll hate you for the rest of my life. Please say whatever you want. Emma will be happy to have the room. You bitch! Comics is my life! It's my romance! If I work part-time, I won't have time to draw comics. I don't want that. It would ruin all my creative activities. Sasha, I need you to do something. I need your help. Please, don't take away my purpose in life. Amy, I understand how you feel. But in order for the whole family to live comfortably, a little compromise is necessary. What do you mean by compromise? We can share the cost of the storage together. and also change the name of the parents' house. Then we can work together. So that's the only way? Yes, that's the only way I can think of. It's not helpful at all. I have my parents' house, but I have to rent storage? I'm sorry. Please do your cute niece a favor. Already, don't be silly. After that, Amy reluctantly agreed to rent storage. Then, she decided to talk to her husband about it because she really didn't want to work part-time. Amy's husband was surprised at first, but he understood her enthusiasm and eventually approved. Amy's husband agreed to let her continue with her hobby because he was concerned about the happiness of the family as a whole. As a result, she was able to continue her hobby. Somehow, I ended up helping her draw comics. She is enjoying her creative activities while cooperating with each other. Amy sincerely appreciates me, and our relationship is better than before. Now the whole family gets together, and Fiona is very happy. Our family bond has strengthened, and everyone is more comfortable. Amy is also truly relieved that she can safely store her precious collections, thanks to the storage. We hope to continue helping each other and having fun together as a family.